The illusion of progress. We live in a world that praises busy. If your schedule's full, they call you productive. If you're always running, they call you ambitious. If you're exhausted, they call you committed. But no one ever stops to ask, busy doing what? Because being busy doesn't mean you're moving forward. Sometimes it just means you're running in circles faster. Busyness feels like progress. But it's often just avoidance. Avoidance of silence. Avoidance of reflection. Avoidance of truth. Because deep down, we're afraid to slow down. Afraid of what we'll hear if everything gets quiet. So we fill our days with noise, with tasks, with distractions, and call it grind. But here's the truth: you can work 16 hours a day and still not be going anywhere. Because effort without direction is movement without meaning. Busy people chase time. Purposeful people use it. Busy people want to look productive. Purposeful people want to be effective. Busy people say yes to everything. Purposeful people say yes to what matters. And that's the difference. Busy is about activity. Purpose is about intention. You can't fill your life with everything and still expect to have room for what's meaningful. Sometimes purpose begins the moment you stop doing so much and start feeling more. Because busyness is loud. Purpose is quiet. And that's why most people can't hear it. The noise we mistake for meaning. Busyness feels important. It gives you something to point to. It makes you feel like you're in control. But sometimes, the noise you're drowning in isn't proof that you're progressing, it's proof that you're avoiding. Avoiding the stillness that might expose the truth, that you don't know where you're headed. That all the rushing has become your hiding place. Because when you stop moving, you have to listen. And when you listen, you start to realize that maybe your life is full of things that don't actually fulfill you. That's why slowing down feels uncomfortable. It forces you to see clearly. Busy keeps you distracted. Purpose keeps you disciplined. Busy says, I have to. Purpose says, I choose to. One drains you. The other drives you. The world tells you that your worth is measured by your output, by how much you do, how fast you do it, how many things you can juggle at once. But purpose isn't about how much you carry, it's about how much of what you carry matters. There's power in pausing. In stepping back and asking yourself, am I busy building something meaningful? Or am I just keeping myself from feeling empty? You can spend your life sprinting toward success and still feel lost when you get there. Because without purpose, progress feels hollow. The truth is, your schedule doesn't make you valuable. Your alignment does. Purpose isn't found in noise, it's found in clarity. And clarity only comes when you slow down long enough to actually see yourself again. The power of living with purpose. At some point, you realize that being busy isn't the same as being alive. Because there's a difference between motion and meaning. Between working hard and working aligned. Between chasing everything and choosing what matters most. Busyness says, I'll rest when I'm done. Purpose says, I'll rest because it helps me keep going. Busyness burns you out. Purpose builds you up. The truth is, you can't do everything, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to do the things that are yours. Because the goal was never to fill every moment. It was to fill every moment that matters. When you stop confusing busy for purpose, your life starts to quiet down. Not because you're doing less, but because you're finally doing what's right. You start saying no without guilt. You start working with clarity instead of chaos. You stop needing to prove your worth through productivity because you've finally found peace in your priorities. Purposeful living isn't about adding more. It's about subtracting everything that doesn't align. It's about building a life that feels light not because it's easy, but because it's true. You stop measuring your value in hours worked and start measuring it in impact made. You stop chasing busy and start chasing better. That's when everything changes. That's when you wake up excited again. Not because your day is packed, but because your purpose is clear. You realize you were never meant to do it all. You were meant to do what matters. And when you start living that way, you stop surviving your days and start building your life. Because purpose doesn't just give you direction, it gives you peace. And peace, not busyness, is the truest sign that you're finally living your life on purpose.